Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to this bonus episode. And you might be wondering, what is this? And if you've been following my podcast for some time, if you've been keeping up with me, last episode you would have heard that I was wrapping up season 1. It was episode 99. And if you're just joining me now, maybe a good one to catch up on to get a really good sense of what the first 99 episodes here were. And I did say to you, hang on, I am going to move on and launch season 2. And you may have been eagerly waiting, I hope so. And I've been eagerly waiting to do it as well. And I will say, I'm not quite ready because season 2 is quite different in terms of what I'm going to talk about and bring to you. It's not like it's an evolution, right? So you will still get me. And if you resonate with me, you will resonate even more with me. So I'm really excited. But because it's a bit of a departure, I'm trying to find the right content and the right platform to do that, and basically the right podcast name as well. And I'm stuck on that for now. I've had ideas, but I haven't landed on the right one yet. So there's a little bit of a delay. And this week, I really had things I wanted to share. So I thought, this is my podcast. I get to do whatever I want. So why not just do a bonus episode? So think of that in between season 1 and season 2. It doesn't have like the usual branding and music, but it's going to be good. So I had a few things that really I learned or that happened in my life recently, and I couldn't wait to share them with you until I find what season 2 will be branded at. But it will come. But probably still another 2 weeks away, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks away. So bear with me. But in the meantime, I've got something for you today. So I want to talk about 2 things, because it's 2 different things I have done that will make a big difference to your life right now. And it's especially if you are coming at life right now in a position of just having some challenges. Hello, anyone? Right, and I will be honest, like it's been challenging the last couple of weeks, and I'll talk more about that in season 2, about what's going on astrologically, but it's a busy time of the year, and I think a lot, if not all of us have been feeling it. You know, like I'm talking late September throughout kind of until mid-October, right now, roughly. There's been a lot going on. It's been a lot going on in my life and everybody I have spoken to. So I think it's one of those periods, those really like hot periods of the year where we need extra support. So no wonder I run into some challenges of my own, and I'm going to tell you how I've dealt with them, and because it really worked and it's really helped. So I hope you're excited. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to get out of overwhelm mode. So you might be there, and I certainly had been there, especially in the last 2 weeks, nearly the last 3 weeks. So in case you wonder and you think I always have perfect balance in my life, it doesn't happen. I also go through patches where things are just piling up, and it was definitely what was happening with me. And I had about 2 to 3 weeks where literally I was feeling like every single day. And it was kind of staying at that level. So just describing what was going on for me. I had a very high workload, especially in my corporate job, with lots of deliverables and conflicting urgent deadlines. It felt like hardly doable. And I was always kind of chasing my tail on that. I therefore had lots of racing thoughts, many tabs open, whether it was home, it was work, it was everything in life. I happened to have an incredible amount of messages and people reaching out everywhere. Friends and even like very distant people came back into my life, overseas and here, and all my friends and my brothers and my parents and my mom. And it was just like one on top of the other. You know, sometimes you get really busy because you chase up too much, but I felt like I'm not even like fostering that. It's just all happening. And I just couldn't keep up with all of that. And also I had like a really big to-do list myself with lots of like admin or important things to do, you know, from a tax return to sorting out some appointments to like really big stuff. And it was a matter of, oh, okay, what's the most urgent? And also there was a lot going on emotionally in my life, within my circle. And that's definitely linked to the 2 eclipses that we had at the end of September and early October. And I saw it everywhere. And you may have felt it yourself. So it's not you in a way, like it's normal. And I had a lot of like emotional ups and downs of waves around me, you know, with my daughter, with some close friends, with my mother. Like there was a lot going on. So that's the background. And so I was operating like that for a couple of weeks, and I realized like the costs started to show up pretty quickly. So for me, it was poor sleep. Like I was going to bed later and later, and I was scrolling a lot more on my phone, and I never do that. Like I was on my phone at 11:30, looking for some kind of dopamine probably, or just on a high from the day. So that ate into my sleep, and I was waking up early. My eating, I let it slide. Like I was really just eating quickly because I was so busy and not really putting the effort into it. I felt I didn't have space and time and energy for my things because I was just like crushed by all those external deadlines. And that actually started to like bring me some anxious thoughts. So I had a mind very racing, but then I started feeling like I would be, I won't say irrational, but I started worrying about more and more stuff. You know, like how it snowballs. And then I really saw I had a dysregulated nervous system because I was a bit on that high alert, not sleeping deeply. You know, if I drop something, I would be like, oh, okay, you know. So when you catch yourself having these really quick reactions, you know, your nervous system is on high alert. And even like my skin, all the way to my skin, just started to look poor. So I just saw that picture last week and I was like, okay, I need to stop this. And I actually booked myself to go away on the weekend. So I'm not saying here everyone needs to do that. And I'm aware not everyone can do that. But it's good to just have a good look at what's going on. And if you resonated with the things that I have just discussed, like you need some self-care. And that's why I'm recording this podcast. So for me, like I could have stayed here on the weekend. I had lots of invitations floating around with people I want to see. But also I had it back on my mind like, oh, what if I just like went away? Because I didn't have my daughter this weekend. And I was like, oh, it would feel really, really, really good to stop all of this. And I did. And it was the best thing ever. So I will tell you more about that. But let me just recap here. Because what I've realized by going away, and literally within a couple of hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, I had dropped out of that state that I had been in for 3 weeks by removing myself and by getting it. And why was I getting? I realized that we get sucked into the vortex of life where everything is fast and fast and fast. And literally, we cannot keep up. And things are urgent, and just the demands on our time and all that, the volume is sheer excess, right? We cannot keep up, and there is a feeling that there is too much to do, and that's that word that I don't like called busyness, right? But it feels like it's crammed, you know, you're jumping from one thing to the next. And there's a lot of noise as well, right? Whether actual physical noise, but just the constant, you know, buzzing and distractions and things like 360 degrees around us. Everything is battling for our attention. I know I'm not saying things that are new here, but I think there are times in our life where they spike, and when it becomes a little chronic, like it's staying like that for more than a couple of days, that's when we need to pay attention. And then therefore we have that constant mind chatter in our heads, and we live completely in our heads. And what happens is what the dialogue that we hear, what's like the narrative, the stories, what's driving us is a voice of fear. It's like fear of not getting things done, fear of missing something out, fear of like not getting things done or not being good enough in this and this and that. Like, you know, we're trying to hold it all together. Does that ring a bell? Have you been in that place? Or maybe you are in that place. Or maybe you're like, but that's my normal life, right? And what I'm saying, what I've realized is this is not our natural way of being. It might be the frequent way of being in the current world, but this is a what can I say? It's like a misfit. It's an error, like a programming error. It's like we have muted away from our natural state so much that we need to actually rectify it. Okay, and I feel like when we're in that stage, it's dangerous because we get swept up and caught up and it spirals up and down in a way in terms of our levels of anxiety and happiness, to be honest. But we get caught up in that and we don't know how to spin out of it. And instead, and what I discovered by going away is that we need to make some space to listen to our other voice, which is the voice that knows better, the wise, loving, supportive, peaceful voice that we have within ourselves, that we all have. It's the voice of our heart. It's the voice of our soul. And when we are caught up in that overwhelm I've just described, you cannot hear it one bit. It's completely crushed, but that is what you need the most. So the way out of overwhelm is to find space, to listen and reconnect with that voice. And it's challenging because that voice isn't loud. But I've really realized how it's about pulling away, reconnecting, and then trying to find a way to maintain that connection on a daily basis as everything happens. I'm very realistic. We can't all go away on a retreat somewhere, and as good as that would sound, and live that way. We have to live in the busyness. But when we've lost ourselves, like I did, we need to find ourselves again, and then we need to keep that up. So how do you do that? Well, for me, I was guided, and I always am. I just knew I had to get away. It felt like tempting for me. And to the point that I say no to everybody. I could have stayed here, and I wanted to as well. I was like, oh, but I found the call to show up for myself. I'm like, this is probably going to be good for me. So I said, sorry, I'm not here. I'm going, I'm leaving. And I left. And I just allow myself to just be. And I didn't listen to podcasts. I didn't feed my brain. And funnily enough, my phone was out of reception for most of the weekend. Would you believe it? Which frustrated me because I just kept rebooting it. But it was on SOS mode all the time. So I think it was forcing me. And then I went into a place where I go not far from here, like an hour and a half from my home. And I like going to that little kind of country town, and I walk by the shop. I know where to eat there, and I stay in a hotel nearby. I really it's been working well for me. I used to do that maybe once a year, and so far this year I've done it 3 times, and I highly recommend it. And and if you feel like this feels too indulgent, oh no, trust me, for the benefits you would get out of it, you would never think that afterwards. So you might think that before, and I would encourage you to just push on and let that voice behind you that tells you that you don't deserve it, or it will be a bit too much, and whatever BS story that might come up there, just go and do it, and you'll be glad you did afterwards. And so I am going into that country town, and there is a shop there that I love. It's like a woohoo shop. It's got crystals, it's got personal development books, all sorts of things, the wide spectrum from tarot to astrology to some really wacko things. It's really fun. And I like going there every time. There is something about that shop. And it's so much that it's actually like a tradition of mine. And I go there and I wait to see what grabs my attention there. It's kind of like a ritual. I go in there and I'm like, let's see what the shop has for me this time. So I'm very relaxed, I'm walking around. And this time it was a book. Sometimes it's been a deck of cards, whatever. And I'm very clear, like when I sit, and I found this book. So I'm going to mention it to you because it was the key for my weekend. And it's exactly what I needed. And it really unlocked all the things I'm discussing now. The book is called Get Quiet by Elaine. I'll put in the show note. I think it's actually pretty recent. It's been published this year. Never heard of that book. But I was like, this is exactly what I need, right? Don't you love when you have those synchronicities? So I bought the book and I loved reading it on the weekend. And so if what I'm talking about resonates, go and get it. And she guides you through 7 different steps to get back to hearing your inner voice. But I just needed to do step 1 and I was there. So that's pretty much what I'm coming to you with now, which is how to get out of overwhelm. You need to create some quiet. Right? And that means you need to disconnect from the inflow of busyness. And that means like stop looking at your to-do list and like literally like move it away mentally. Move away from the mental reminders, the rehashing or looking at calendars or all of those things, and unplug from technology. I'm not saying go full like monk detox because that's not realistic, but lower your consumption. Like be very mindful. Like me, I was like 10 o'clock, no more phone. No more phone every night. It's like for a kid, I know after 10 o'clock, I'm not to use my phone. Okay. And, and no scrolling and that sort of thing when I can see I'm just like doing that to get my dopamine hit. So you need to do less technology. You need to do less reminders, like less head into your mental load. And ideally use a weekend because that's when you don't have all the work and stuff. So do that on a weekend. See if you can physically go somewhere else where you're going to have more quiet than if you're home. I really recommend it if you can. And go into that quiet space. And then second step is to move your body. The body is the connection back to yourself. Because when you are in overwhelm and all of that, and you get in your head, you lose complete touch with your body. Like what I said, my sleep, my eating, all of that. And the body is just really under stress, under duress, and it's trying to catch up. And you need to be grounded. Like we literally have feet. There is gravity for a reason. So you need to drop back into your body. The easiest way to do that is reconnecting with some kind of movement. It doesn't matter what it is. Walk, run, swim, do Pilates, do yoga, just stretch at home, anything where you are going to be brought back to your body. And just do that a little bit every day. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it's just 10-minute stretches in the morning. So go and move your body. Even if right now you feel like you don't have the time, that's the last thing that you want, it will bring you out of your head back into your body. And really, in particular, really focus on moving your belly area because that's where things stagnate and that's where your second brain is. That's where your creativity, your vitality, everything when you think about it is really located in that middle section of your body. I mean, everything. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things. The mind-body connection really lives there. So that is the space where even just like relax your stomach, your abdomen, like just let it go down and just realize how much tension you're holding there. So if you go walking, if you go swimming and all that, you're going to naturally, by the movement, it's complex, but like you will stimulate some meridians in your body. Based on the movement you're going to be doing, you're going to stimulate some of the energy channels in your body and you're going to stretch this out and you are going to help your body relax and there will be better energy flow. And that's how you get out of the mental overwhelm. So I hope you've enjoyed that first section, that first bit. That's already quite a lot, right now. But this may be an episode you want to bookmark and get back to when you catch yourself, a bit too much into that spiral and you're like, like what I just said, how to get back. And that can happen really, really fast. For me, I dropped back into my body within a couple of hours. And then I enjoy a beautiful weekend where I was reconnected with my higher self and my inner voice. And let me tell you, didn't it talk to me? My goodness, so much came to me. It was like an outpour of insights, of inspiration, of ideas. And I was just like, whoa, where is this coming from? Now I know. It's because it was stuck up there for such a long time. Meanwhile, I was chasing stuff that didn't matter. It felt like it did matter because urgency does that to you. But actually, it didn't. And when you get quiet, when you leave some space, you will hear that voice too. And that feels really good. So go and move your body. Go and move your stomach. Relax it. Find that space. You need to create that space. And just wait and see, because it won't come back to you. And you will hear your real voice and you'll be like, okay, yeah, all right, I've been doing it wrong. I've been caught up in those things. I'm back down here now. And okay. And then maintain that on a daily basis. Do a bit of movement, do a bit of quiet where you switch off from technology, messages and all of that. Like for me, I am religiously doing meditation every morning in my bed. Doesn't matter, sometimes it's 10, 15 minutes. But now when I connect into that, I remember how I felt on the weekend. So it's like the glue that holds you together. Maybe for you, it's just a walk. Maybe it's a cup of tea. But you need to reintroduce those things so that, you keep that connection up every day. And it's okay if you lose it again. Just start all over. Have another break, reconnect, and keep it up. Okay, the second thing I wanted to share, because that has been happening to me a bit before that overwhelm, and I'm seeing results. So I've got to share with you guys how to change your life, how it feels, the flow of energy, what's happening in your life. Especially, as I said at the beginning, if you're feeling some kind of stagnation, some fears holding you back, you're feeling stuck in habits that don't serve you, and overall you just don't really like how you're feeling. It's feeling a little sluggish, it's feeling like you lack vitality, creativity, like your energy isn't really positive, right? So if you're thinking, yeah, that's kind of a bit like me lately, change your environment. And by that I mean, like, bring some fresh change into where you live. So fittingly in Australia, it's spring. So it's that perfect metaphor. But if you're in autumn as well, same deal. Like, it's time to shed. So it's time to whip things up in a different shape and form outside of you, because that will impact how you feel inside. So I'm saying to you, change your environment. So that is going through decluttering your home. Now, you're feeling stuck in your life and all that, go and declutter a cupboard. Even just one. Declutter the spots in your house, especially the visual clutter that you see every day, because it keeps you stuck. So declutter your home, declutter your car, clean it up, declutter your handbag. Like those things. Declutter your pantry, your fridge, clean your fridge. Like those things that you look at every day have a massive impact. Also declutter digitally, declutter your desktop, your inbox, your apps, all of that you look at every day. Just a big clean. And another favorite of mine, which is what I did, I moved things around. And that's quite drastic. It might not be for everybody. Or for you, it could be moving home, or it could be renovating. For me, I reshuffled all the bedrooms and offices around my house at the end of September. And it's an idea that come up to me, even though I've been living the same way for nearly 4 years, but it had never really come up to me. I wasn't totally happy where my bedroom was. And I came up with a new solution. And I did a big reshuffle. And I moved my bedroom one floor up in my house. And it was quite a lot of work. But everything changed in my energy at home and the way that I feel at home. So especially your bedroom, the places where you rest that are yours, your kitchen might not have the same impact. But if you change your office where you work from home or your bedroom, and at the same time, so I changed my daughter's bedroom and I gave her a bigger one and I made it up, and I've also like removed all the stuff that from when she was younger and got her ready towards, teenage years. And that just like transformed things at home and how I felt at home. And I guarantee you it's still impacting what's happening in my life outside of home. It's really not like some of you might be into feng shui, you might know a lot more than me about it, but I really do believe this works. So also, if you're feeling like stuck like that, change things up in your environment. Obviously, for something that you like, that you love, but just go for it. And spend a little bit of money if you need to. Don't worry about it, because the rewards will be there. It will pay off tenfold in terms of other things, because suddenly you might have the energy to tackle other goals in your life, to go after a better job, to have the important conversation that will unlock some relationships issues in your life, and you're going to feel so much better. Like, this is a really good time to get this done before the end of the year. So I hope it inspired you today. I just wanted to come and share all of that because it's really fresh with me. There is lots going on at my end, but it's really positive. I talked about challenges today, but also I have a lot of really good positive improvements and things happening in my life, which I'm really happy. But I realize it feels like a period where it's a catalyst. Definitely for me, and maybe you're feeling it. So I've given you tools to harness that catalyst energy. You gotta cut and carve some quiet pockets of silence so you can recenter and you can deal with all the changes and all the acceleration that you're seeing outside of you. Definitely. And then secondly, maybe time to change things up around yourself, because when you do that, it will reflect inside. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. Please feel free to share it with anyone that, you chat to, a friend, a colleague that could be inspired by it. I will be back with season 2. Thank you for your patience. I hope the inspiration will strike me with the name of the podcast. So watch out for that. I'm also working on a new website. So I hope that you are on my mailing list at careercatchup.com. If not, I will give you another link in season 2 so you can keep up with me and you can be the first to know all the new things that I'm going to launch. All right, my lovelies, take great care. Have a beautiful end of October, and I'll be in touch very soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to find out more information, you can visit my website at careercatchup.com. There you will find blog articles, free resources, a self-study course for your career direction, and ways to work with me. It's at careercatchup.com. I hope to continue to connect with you and support you. Talk to you soon.